All right, we're in double-digit weeks now. It's near the end of the season. I think there's effectively 14 games played, 3 to go in the regular season. RJ, it's crazy time.
Yeah, it's been a really enjoyable season. I look forward to the next couple of weeks of the regular season, but overall, this has been one of the more enjoyable years.
I would say I'm really glad that we're on because I think we're definitely the two most successful teams in the league this year. So I'm holding on for dear life to my 14-0 record, and you are hanging on beautifully, setting all sorts of records in the process to the 0-14 record. We've got the defeated and the undefeated team on the pod together. It's beautiful because together we're just 500.
Yeah, uh, I I couldn't have written out this season any better for myself. I'm very happy. I have I have the lowest points, and I believe after last week, the second lowest points all time, which was just fantastic. Um, I'm very impressed by you and a couple of the other like higher win teams, that's for sure. Um, but yeah, overall, my season's been enjoyable.
Yeah, and again, I'm I have to gloat in the undefeated asshole talk a little bit, even though it's completely not my style because I'm not going undefeated. There's just no way.
I don't know. You got a
So
good chance of it right now.
are you kidding me? So again, this last week I had a hard fought win over the Bengals, who was definitely one of the class of the AFC. Um, and my last 3 games are against the Browns, who again have rebuilt a little bit and have gone all the all IR team at one point. The Chiefs, which looked a lot tougher than a couple weeks ago than it was today, but still have some dynamic players. And of course, Jeremy is somehow going to prevent me from going 17-0, be the first team to do it because he's who I get in week 17. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but Jeremy's going to beat me that week. I would almost bet money on it.
I mean, on the plus side, even if you do lose that week, you still win the division. So I don't think you can be too distraught.
Well, that's what I was. We are, that's a good place to start here in terms of division winners and losers. So, um, actually, it doesn't matter because I have actually clinched the NFC North
Yep.
with 3 games left. I am 4 games up, so I will clinch the North. However, by no means at all is the seeding taken out at this point. Um, have any of the wild card teams clinched actually yet?
I believe we're at a point where it's only like the 9 and 5 teams
So
can,
there's like a scenario where the Giants could finish 10-7 and be in the playoff race. So from that standpoint, I
but
guess
for points
technically,
for, they'd have to have a whole bunch of Zadarius Smith type of production.
yeah. So for all intents and purposes, Jeremy has clinched a wild card spot at this
Yeah.
point. Um, Falcons has clinched the South up 4 with 4 to go. Washington clinched the East probably like a month ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Rams have clinched the West. I think they actually changed their name to the NFC West champion Rams last week. So all 4 divisions in the NFC have clinched, and one of the wild card teams has clinched. So, as expected, the 7 teams that we expected to make the playoffs are going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And down the stretch here, it's going to be a fun little tightrope with. Oh God, you know what? This is going to be perfect too. So again, not to throw the negativity in the universe. So when Jeremy beats me, he'll drop my record to 5-1 in the division. So I think that may lose me the tiebreaker against the Falcons and Washington football team in terms of the seeding. So not only will he knock me out from my undefeated season, he's going to drop me from the first seed to the third.
Well,
Can't wait.
I I hope all your players plan to put up some points that week.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, you're still in a fantastic position. You did take a hit with a couple of injuries as of recently,
Yeah.
um, but I still think you're in the driver's seat, and that's not to not give the Falcons credit. He is the league champion, and I guess he deserves at worst to be considered the second best team, if not the best team right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's put this in perspective. The Falcons were a favorite coming into the year because of what they had on offense, and currently their highest producing player on offense is Debo Samuel. Anyone who came into the season saying we're going into this point of the season and the number one offensive scorer on Falcons team is Debo Samuel, you are fucking lying to me. You are a liar.
Well, of course. I mean, look at those running backs.
And Kyler fucking Murray.
Yeah.
Like, come on. So the fact that he's got one loss and I think it's 50 points behind me, and that's the production he's getting from the rest of his offense. It's like, okay, if his defense has an okay day, he's going to drop 340 in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
it's going to be fun times. And then do we have to say nice things about Washington football team or?
Yeah, because he has stayed the course. His team has not gotten worse by any means. His defense has gotten far better. So I like it. I think it, like we had talked about, like when we were assessing teams, it's kind of the same thing with all of the top end teams. Really nice, noteworthy names, but not as many as you would like. So only 4 wide receivers, 2 running backs, so.
Mhm.
You hope that there's no injuries, but other than that, the team looks pretty stacked and
Yeah.
ready to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, especially I will give him credit that kind of from top to bottom, there's some big names and some big salaries, but it balances out well. You can absolutely see the path to a well-known name and maybe even a star at every starting position.
And he still
And
gets the Marcus Lawrence back for the
you know,
playoff push.
and then Chris Carson probably as well. Damn it.
Yeah, it's not going to be a easy road to a championship, even
No,
for an undefeated team that just knocked off the Bengals.
bunch of a-holes.
They're not making it easy for you.
All right, this is depressing. Can we go talk about the AFC now?
Yeah, I don't think everything's completely locked up there because more than 7 teams decided to have an over 500 record.
The only clinch so far, and I think it's a clinch, is unofficial clinch is yes, the Chargers clinching over the Raiders.
Correct.
So the Chargers have clinched the AFC West, are currently the 1 seed, and with I think a Chargers win and a Bills loss this Sunday, I think that might wrap up the number 1 seed for Matt. So fuck you, Matt.
I mean, we'd like him on so we could brag.
Do we want him bragging about this right now?
Yeah, of course. Because he's going to give us the same thing that you are. You guys both expect to get more losses that you probably won't get in the regular season, and then you both will run through the playoffs. But neither of you seem to think that. He did get a Cordero Patterson injury, so
Yeah.
that's kind of disappointing. I think that's his first his first under double-digit production last week.
Yeah.
But
It's a tough go. It's funny. I think the same team in one of my home fantasy leagues that it seems like every time he gets a running back this year, he gets hurt. And he just traded for Cordero Patterson 2 weeks ago. So I should take this as a sign. And, I'm sorry to Onta Foreman. He just picked him up and he's been, that guy for a while for him. So I hate to see, this curse ruin his career, but he might have some trouble here.
yeah, well,
All right. Anyways, Let's see. Going to the north, Bengals and Ravens are within a game of each other. Let's see. Do they play each other down the stretch? Because that would be fantastic. Yes, week 13. If both teams win out, they could be playing in week 17 or week 18. So is it 17 or 18? 17 here.
Yeah.
Whatever. The final game they could be playing for the AFC North crown, which is phenomenal.
I like that. At least one division's going to go down to the wire.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Texans and Titans are both 9-5. Oh, Texans play the Colts, which means the Titans play the Jags in the final game. Damn it! If only that was switched.
Yeah, we just need to see the Titans pick up some point production over the next few weeks. 200 points isn't like, I don't know, it's pretty steep, but it's not impossible to dig yourself out of that over the next 3 weeks, 80, 90 point. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit harder than.
Yeah.
So Titans is hoping for Texans to pick up a loss. Is that even possible? Who do they play? Niners. Oh, Rams, Falcons. All right, so it's very possible. Titans could sneak this, could quietly steal this division.
Well, who do the Titans have?
Well, they just knocked off the Rams. They have the Cardinals, the Panthers, and the Jags. So they have a pretty nice schedule in comparison to the Texans.
Yeah, Texans need some help to. I would be all for the Texans running the gamut. Yeah, I think the Titans are probably going to take the division here.
Yeah. Wow, that's going to be interesting. That's the first time that in recent memory that the Texans haven't won that division, right?
Like, this is going to be nuts. So week 17, like we said, we've got the Bengals and Ravens playing for the division.
Mm-hmm.
The loser might not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It looks like they probably will based off of points for. It doesn't look like the AFC East is going to have as strong of a points for / maybe the other team from the AFC South, but it's going to come right down to it. And then I got to say, RJ, there's still a mathematical chance, but things are looking a little bit sour for your Super Bowl pick for the AFC.
I know. I was looking at that last night. I just hope for all the 9-5 teams, I hope they don't lose 2 games because the Dolphins have a ridiculous points for, and they will catch up to anybody.
I'm seeing so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 9-5 teams right now, and a 10-4 team. So, yeah, 2 of the 9-5 teams would have to lose 2 games, and the Dolphins went out.
Yep.
So there's a path, but then there's also the Raiders who are 8-6.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Can the Raiders lose? Do the Raiders have a tough schedule? No. Oh, well, they play Washington, Green Bay, and Los Angeles. They play the Chargers, the Packers, and the football team. So I think their 8-6 record is not anything that's a threat to anybody.
So not great, Bob?
No, not at all.
Not great, Bob. Okay. All right. But yeah. So yes, I think it's safe to say the Raiders will not be advancing to the postseason this year. But again, 4 teams down the stretch for 3 spots. Going to be exciting and a sad start to the postseason for one of these guys.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I've really enjoyed the AFC East, like that battle. Like it's kind of shocking that the Dolphins are the team that's 500, just with that like point output. But man, it's been fun watching the win-loss records change every week.
I both can't wait and am terrified to see the preseason predictions when we go back and revisit that after the season.
Oh yeah.
I think we must have had the Dolphins in like the elite group. You had them as a Super Bowl pick. It's like, well, they had an elite scoring, but just a really tough record.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the Patriots just took all of the momentum that they had and ran
Mhm.
with it. Because the Patriots were like when you looked at that division, you identified that team as the one that's like, this one's probably gonna tank for another year or two. And like they had some nice building blocks, but
Mhm.
w- we didn't see a 9-5 record at this point.
Yeah, and again, if you say you did, you're lying. Um, all right. Yep. So that's the playoff situation there. The other side of it is, as mentioned, congratulations are in order to you, RJ. You are now untied and undisputed at 0-14. Every team now has at least one win other than you. So again, if you continue going how you're going, 101 is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I've been working for. It's been a tough year. I certainly don't like seeing myself rack up these losses, but I just tell myself that my team will be better next year, and if not next year, the year after.
Yeah, I don't know. It took. I think it takes 2 years to kind of jump back to contention. It's almost like a hockey schedule for some of this stuff. But hey, you're in a good position, and we know you're going to put in the work. In terms of 102, it looks like it's a horse race between the Steelers, the Jags, and um, that's it.
Yeah,
Wow.
outside shot of like the Cowboys or the Lions getting into the race if the other teams pick up another win.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, if the Lions, if either any of the teams win, the Lions jump them. I mean, the Lions have
right.
what? The Lions must have played you this year, and then who was the Lions' other win? I think it might. God, was it the 49ers?
It was a very recent win. I know that.
It was the Cowboys.
Okay.
Cowboys and where's your other win? Oh, the 49ers in week 3.
Okay.
Oh man, that's tough luck for Nick.
Luckily for the Lions, I mean, really the only thing that they're in like dire need of is finding a quarterback. So with this draft class as it looks right now, having the 101 isn't the most isn't the most important thing,
Yep.
unless there is one particular quarterback that you want above everybody else.
Yep. Um, hmm. Yeah, that's tough luck there for the Lions. I'm taking a look at his squad. He's got some building to do for sure. But yeah, I think at 5 you should still be in contention for one of the top quarterbacks. Yeah, is anyone else really at risk of jumping into the top 5 at this point? Panthers.
Seahawks outside shot, but
Yeah, but I don't know with Wilson coming back. I don't think points wise they're going to stay as low as they are. So I think that's going to blow it. And then probably same for Cardinals. Either way,
right.
we're talking about 3-win teams now. We're almost to the middle of the pack. Um, I mean,
Oh,
that's kind of where things are. I guess the other thing that we've been talking about in chat, and we said we'd bring up on the pod, is what was it? One of the suggestions is kind of an open discussion around how do we keep the teams that are unable to trade now that the deadline's passed, and out of it engaged for these next couple of weeks because, as mentioned, there is an opportunity for them to cause trouble by spending a ton on players they have no intention of keeping and can't keep, just to drive prices up and keep them away from the teams that need them. Um, but then at the other time, it's like we can't exchange things, but you know getting people incentivized to stay active during this time. So, RJ, outside of just taking a vacation here, what are you thinking?
well, okay. So for the other teams that aren't the Eagles that are like specifically hunting out a 101, like there are various other things that you can do. You don't have to necessarily raise the prices of players, but just uh, acquiring players that could I don't know, help you win a game, maybe ruin somebody else's playoff push, something like that. There are other things that you can do. You can hunt taxi squads and try to steal quality players that have like a contract that you might want for next year. Pay attention to these teams that have 40 players and a whole bunch of taxi squad players. It's not going to be the cream of the crop, but you're getting something. You're doing something with your time. Um, but also, like I don't know. What Jeremy said in the chat is kind of like the same way that I feel about it. Like I like the idea of when our trade deadline happens. Um, I view it as the first X amount of weeks up until the deadline is kind of like us just all racing to try to build the best team. And like once a trade deadline happens, like it's just a race. Like you've done everything that you can. You know, you've tuned your team, and now it's time for the last leg of the race, and you just let it happen. Um, but like for the for the lower teams in it, there's plenty of stuff you can do.
Damn it! Stop giving people ideas of things to be doing to make my life harder, RJ.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. I understand.
You're not sorry at all.
I am because I never made that claim, and if there was one person that should have, it would have been me.
Yeah, yeah. And now I might actually be able to promote said player if I needed to. So the craziness continues. So all
Also,
right. I
like,
mean, it's a short one tonight. Anything else you want to talk about?
well, I mean, still talking about the other things, like if you're not in the playoffs, like I know, I was basically out of the playoffs in the first round last year. After that, I was just hunting for. It was like a month and a half of me just hunting for various different players that I could acquire, like inside that like I wanted to renegotiate or extend or something like that. So like there's I don't know. There's various other things. So I kind of agree with Jeremy in the sense of I think I think it would take a very strong argument to move that trade deadline.
Yeah, and if you don't have it, then I don't know. I don't love the idea of not having a deadline, and I think it's in a good spot. But
Right.
like I said, I'm always open to ideas to drive activity.
Yeah, I
Uh
agree.
oh. Who's ready? Who's ready? Here he is,
Hello.
the
There we go.
AFC West champion, Chargers.
Am I the champion already?
You are officially the champion.
Wow, go me. Give me my $20, please. Thanks.
Give me my monies now.
Hey, that keeps you in the league for another year longer.
I mean, I've already paid through like 2 more seasons or some shit, right?
I think all of us have at this point.
Yeah, like
Right.
I will have to have been kicked from the league, which my one remaining kick trade agreement is null and void. So
Well, so how do you feel about the other teams in your conference
in my conference,
and the challenges that they may give you in the playoffs?
I'm terrified by most of these teams come the playoffs because of my buy situation. So Um, I very much do want that week. That week, what is it? 14 buy. Yeah, I want that bad. Because my conference doesn't quite have the same like top end 3 teams 13-1 or better.
Hmm.
But like my whole ass fucking conference, except for like 4 teams, is above 500. So good job, AFC. You're terrifying.
Yeah, there's some really good teams. There's some really good teams that are going to miss the playoffs in your conference.
Damn it, Matt. I said almost the exact same thing, but reversed. I don't want to play this team, and I don't want to play this team, and I actually already outlined for everyone to hear how Jeremy's going to beat me in week 17 and ruin my season. But, At least I'm expecting it. At least it won't catch me off guard.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I've just accepted either Derrick Henry comes back and I become a juggernaut and I face fuck the entire AFC, or he doesn't, and I am flipping coins every single week and hoping I can luck my way into the Super Bowl.
Right. And again, even if I make the playoffs, the other fun thing waiting for us there on the NFC side, fun statistical fact that we didn't look at until this, the best scoring player on Brett's offense right now is Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
Considering he has Kyler Murray, he's got Alvin Kamara, he's got Josh Jacobs, he's got Chris Godwin, he's got Darren Waller, and the best scoring player on his offense right now is Deebo Samuel. It's like, oh, well, shit, I'm screwed.
So do you expect them to come back to form by playoff time?
I think, yeah, Kyle's getting through his injury right now. Godwin was a 50-50 to play this week, but I think after how they played here, they're going to do what they need to get him right. Jacobs is on the mend, probably going to be a shell of himself the next game or two, but I think by the time we get to the playoffs, he'll be ready to roll. Kamara, again, he took his week off this week. I just kind of see everything coming together at the playoffs for him. So what can I say?
My thing with Brett's team is I think he's much more like all it takes is one dude having a shit game and he's in trouble.
That's true. But
it can be made up for by like other players, like one of the running backs having a 35, 40-point game, or one of the other wide receivers having a couple touchdowns and 150 yards or whatever. They can make up for it. But if they don't do that and one of those guys gets like 2 catches for 18 yards, like let's say Deebo, like whoever they play in week 15, it's like let's say the Falcons like completely sell out to just stop Deebo Samuel, and are like, okay, beat us with literally anybody else, and Deebo ends the game with like 3 rushes for 6 yards and 2 receptions for 15 yards. Like that's bad. That's bad for the Falcons team as it stands.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible.
But yeah,
I think that's kind of like all of the NFC teams. I mean, outside of even Vikings, like it's all one of those. Sure, like you have a group of players that can be productive, but if like one of those players falls off, you're in a conference with 2 other teams that are just like that. So like if you're the Vikings and you're playing Washington and his guys show up and just one of your guys doesn't show up, you be down 30 points with no way of recovering that.
I think the difference there is that like Mike's team, the Washington doesn't have this, but like Mike's team and I think Jeremy's team, they literally have other bodies in place to where like if like their main guys have an absolute like putrid 2-point game,
right,
they're still probably getting 7 to 8 points from somebody else.
right.
Okay.
Which when we're talking these like extremely high scoring teams, like 6 points can be a massive swing.
So literally, if I do make a run and end up, if it does go my way this year, I think RJ might be getting the MVP award from my team, because I think DeAndre Carter might be my 3rd highest scoring wide receiver right now.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I got him from you, plus a few other players who have been productive for a 5th round pick.
Yeah. I can go through this team and tell you all the players that I have at least pointed you in the direction of or sent to you.
Yep.
And there's some pretty decent players on there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you have 3 former Chargers at least on that roster right now. 4, I see Chandler Jones now. No,
but I mean, if you look at Ashawn Robinson as a D tackle, who name was said a lot last night. Wasn't a great game for the Rams, but he was involved last night. And then Benjamin St-Juste, and then both of Andre Roberts and DeAndre Carter are like, okay, get these points off of my team. And I said, great, here's my 5th round pick. And thank you for the extra 400 points.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So I think that just goes to show for everybody else, when I offer you a decent trade and I'm the tanking team, I'm not trying to swindle you. I am giving you decent points in most
He's
situations.
kind of trying to swindle you.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's always a little bit.
Let's not be dishonest.
I mean, there's other owners in this league, like Colts, that could be like, yeah, but you also traded me a Quan Alexander for a 2nd round pick. So it goes both ways. Sometimes you win those trades, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. But thus is life. Anyways, all right, yeah, we can talk about who's more screwed than others. But the other thing that came to mind while you guys were talking, so thank you, is something that everyone should do right now. So I was very pleased to extend Austin Eckler and give him a raise this year, which will bring him up to, I believe, $920,000 next year for the next 6 years. So the one thing I would recommend that everybody does is look at your team, look at your extensions, and see if now's a good time to file your extensions, because you've got part of the season of this year. This year counts now. So you might get a better extension for it now, and especially if your player is going to be in the hunt for a Pro Bowl spot, it could get ugly in a hurry. So recommendation to everybody, take a look at your roster, especially if they're overperforming and can make the Pro Bowl, and see if you need to put an extension out there. Because I did a calculation on a couple of players earlier today, and there's someone sitting out there that is a $17 million swing if the season were to end today, of if he was extended today versus if they wait until the end of the season. So those exist. Those have been verified with a couple other teams. So pay attention to your team during this time, guys. It's there's some values to be had.
Yep.
Yeah, and while you are assessing those, look at your guys with 5th-year options or things like that. Take that value into consideration when you're extending them. And I don't know, maybe look to ship some of these guys off when you're allowed to trade again. So this is a time where you get to look at those things and just kind of, pencil in like, I think I can trade this guy off in the off season and free up more cap than what it's worth.
Yep. No, absolutely. All right. Well, with that, I think we'll keep it as a half-hour pod. We'll, of course, be doing the after pod. And who knows? Maybe this will turn into a 2-pod night. But either way, thanks, everyone, for joining, as usual. Always looking for folks to join us on the pod and add their viewpoint on kind of anything we're talking about. But be well, and good luck to the teams that are trying to win. Bad luck to the teams that are trying to lose. And, yeah, that's all I have to say. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's great. We don't have any trades to really critique or yell at anybody about. And everything's pretty clear cut right now. So I don't expect us to drag it out for, half the night.
Yep.
Right.
It's pretty much done.
All right. So hope everyone has a good night, and we'll talk to you later.